So this was just that concept of every day you keep track of the food that's coming into the kitchen, not the food that you're buying and going into the storeroom, the food that's coming into the kitchen. So directs, things that are purchased, like this, in this case, fresh fish, it's coming right in the kitchen. It's being prepped and used tonight or tomorrow on the line, and then we're going to get some more fresh fish. Other things are going to come in frozen or canned, and those are going into the storeroom. We're going to use them eventually, but maybe in a couple of days or something. But we're not counting that. It doesn't get counted until it gets moved into the kitchen. So in this case, we have this delivery order that's coming from Ron's. It's arrived on the dock today, this morning. We have to pay $880 to Ron. So what goes in the kitchen? What is a direct? That's the first thing we have to do in this process. Yeah, it'd be the fresh salmon. So a direct is anything that it doesn't matter how you've ordered it, like you said, online or whatever, a phone call or, whatever. When it arrives, where does it go? Does it go directly to the kitchen? Then it's a direct and it gets
directly to the kitchen, and it's supposed to be used that day.
And if it's going to go into your storeroom, bags of flour, canned goods, frozen stuff, it's going in the storeroom or the freezer, and you're going to use it eventually a couple of days, but it doesn't go to the kitchen, doesn't become part of the cooking process or the prep process yet. So in this case, if you look at that, if these were fresh chanterelles, then they would be a direct. They're going in the kitchen. They're perishable. They're only good for a day or so. But these ones are dry. Everything else is canned. The beef is frozen. If that was fresh beef that you were prepping and cutting, trimming, and prepping for the line, that would be direct probably. But everything else is bottled, canned, frozen. Beans are canned. So the only thing on this list, so the directs don't have to come from a separate supplier. In this case, one order came from one supplier. So let's just say it's Cisco. It arrives and it gets dropped on your loading dock or your back door. And the only thing from this that goes to the kitchen directly is the fresh salmon. Everything else gets put away in the back area in the storeroom or the back freezer. So from this, the information we have to take out of this is the fresh salmon is the direct. And then this is the other information I gave you. So the answers that you should have gotten was for the 6th, in class we did up until the 5th, I believe. So in the 6th, we got that delivery. The truck showed up that we just saw, and out of that $880, only $150 or $125 of it was a direct. So that's something that's going into the kitchen and is going to be part of our calculation for today. What else did we get? The other food in that delivery is not part of this. It goes into the storeroom. But we did go to the storeroom and get some stuff, canned goods, bags of flour, oil, spices, whatever it was. And that stuff could have come yesterday, 2 days ago, a week ago, a month ago. It's stuff that's in the storeroom. It's good quality stuff that we've ordered in anticipation of needing it. So when we do that transfer in the morning and go get those goods from our storeroom, the value was calculated. We kept track of it. Your storeroom clerk keeps track of it. And it comes to $910. We also had to bring in, so we're adding to cost, we had to bring in another $25 into the kitchen for ingredients. And the example I usually use is like wine from the bar. We didn't go to the liquor store. We have wine right at the bar out there. So just go out and you get the couple liters of wine, a liter of red and liter of white, whatever it is you need for the cooking for the day. And that's going to be used in the cooking process. It's not alcohol. It's actually being used as food as part of our cooking process. So the value, we're not paying for the stuff at the bar, but we're just transferring it over. We're saying it's coming into us, so it's being added to our costs. And they don't have the wine to sell to the customer, so it's subtracted from their costs. So they're doing the same thing as us, just making an adjustment on paper. So when you add those three things together, that's how much food is coming in from the kitchen. But we also sent $50 worth of food out. And what could that be? The example I use most of the time, could be anything, but most of the time would be, you're sending some lemons or some limes to the fitness center to put in the water in the gym. You send some lemons and limes and celery to the bar for the garnish for the drinks. So you just keep track of that. It could be from 1 or 2 locations, like where you sent it, but it's food that's taken from the kitchen and being used by somebody properly in somewhere else of the hotel. And instead of them going to Loblaws for a couple of lemons, they just come to you and say, "Chef, can I requisition a couple of lemons?" Sure, just sign here, and we just keep track of that. So in this case, the value today of what left the kitchen that's gone out of our pantry is $50. So it's $125 plus $910 plus $25, subtract $50 is the value. And the value of the new food coming into the kitchen is $1,010. So that's the new food that we needed. And then when we add it to so far this month, how much food have we been bringing in every day? The cumulative total is 484 as of yesterday, the 5th. So now with the 6, we add those two together and we get $5,855. That's how much food is coming in the kitchen so far this month. We have bought a lot more, but it's in the storeroom, it's in the freezer. It doesn't count against the flash food cost until we bring it into the kitchen and start prepping it or start opening the cans. And then when we look at the POS system, the cash register, from tonight, it tells us that the sales today from wherever we sold, in the bar, in the restaurant, in the coffee shop, were $3,176. So how much revenue we brought in for the month? As of yesterday, it was $15,116. We add today's to it. So far this month, we brought in $18,292 in revenue or sales. So the last two columns is what's today's food cost. So today's food cost would be, just like we always do food cost, what was the cost of goods for today? And what was the revenue, or the bottom number for today? So 1010 divided by 3176 is 31.8%. And that's okay. But our most important number is this one. How are we doing so far this month? What's the trend, or what's the pattern that's happening so far this month? So there we need the month to date numbers. So far this month, we brought in $58.55 in food into the kitchen. And so far we brought in revenue of $18,292 to the operation. So 585 divided by 18 is 32% even. So this number is important because it keeps us on track. But when we're doing analysis of trying to figure out, how is our business doing? Are we on track to make money according to what we think we're going to do, or what we thought we're going to do with our budget? This is the most important number here. And every day we do this, do the daily, and then calculate the month to date. And it's still early. It's only 6 days in this example. But if once we get to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days, that's a pretty good, like we're in the second week, should be a pretty good indication how we're doing. And then we can use that number, compare it to what we're supposed to be in at the end of the month. And we can compare it to previous months. And on the 13th day of the month, what's our percentage usually with the current menu? It has to be the same menu. And then that's going to give you a feeling, yeah, we're on track, or no, we got problems, I better figure this out. Or find out why it's off the pattern. So those should be the numbers you got. Yes, sorry.
Sorry, can you repeat the last part? Like, how did you find the food costs to date? Like
this one?
Yeah, the last one. Yeah.
So it's this number here. How much food have we brought in to date so far this month? So again, it's to date divided by our sales to date, 18,000.
Okay, thank you, Chef.
Okay. So the question is, based upon this, it's still early days yet. It's still a little premature, but still, that's the purpose of this, is every day you look at this and say, the feeling in your stomach, am I doing good? Or am I on the right track? Or should I start panicking yet? What do you think? Are we going in the right direction? Or should we start panicking? Again, I didn't give you previous months, so we don't have an indicator to compare it to. But just with the information you have, are you thinking we're doing okay? Are we going in the right direction? Steadily going down. That's been the trend. So that's a pretty positive sign. Again, it's pretty limited glimpse. It's only been 6 days. And again, what Luke was just saying about 35, that would have been an example. I gave you about 35% food cost. The budget for this restaurant could be 27, 28, 33, 39. There's no magic number. In this case,
is there an average in that case? Like,
no. No, it depends on the type of business, depends on a whole bunch of factors. I mean, people would tell you 30% is the industry average. Yeah, I guess just as a general statement, yeah. But there's a lot of hotels like that, you'd be fired if you did 30% food cost. They want 26 to 27. So it really depends. In some quick serve places, the food cost is higher than 30, and that's all good too. So there's no absolute number. It really depends on the individual operation. So it's somewhere, if you want to have a range, somewhere between, I would say, 21 and 40 in there. So 30 would be in the middle of that as an average, but 30 is not an absolute. So in this case, it's trending down. That's a good sign. If I told you the food cost at this place was 30%, that was the goal at the end of the month, I'd be looking at this going, I think we're on track. Again, I'd like to see the previous months, and I'd like to wait probably till the 10th just to see there's a full week under our belt. But I'm pretty comfortable at, 2% difference if our goal is 30. If our goal was 26, 27, again, that's a long way to go. But what's my past pattern been? Is this the way it happens? And again, there's no absolute, you have to look at those pieces of information, and then you have to make a judgment call based on that. But just with the limited information, I would concur with the two of you that no, this is looking pretty good. I wouldn't panic at any point yet. If this was significantly higher going in the wrong direction, yeah, I might start checking these numbers. Did we do the calculations right? That would be the first thing I would check is, did I make a miscalculation here, put a decimal in the wrong place? Or are we waiting for a big payoff? Tomorrow, there's a huge function with 600 people. And we bought all the groceries. We've been prepping. We've been cutting the steaks and marinating, whatever it is we're serving them. We've been building up the inventory and getting it all prepped. And tomorrow, not buying anything because we have everything here. And then we're just going to get like $8,000 in sales, and we're not going to buy anything tomorrow. Well, that's going to hammer this. It's going to come right down. So you have to look and say, that's what's happening. I'm going to wait one more day and see what happens. So again, you have to know every individual operation, but this at least gives you a sense, am I on track? Do I need to react? Do I wait another day or two? But if your manager comes up to you and says, it's the 10th, what's your prediction? And they will ask you that. What's your prediction for the end of the month? You can say, I think we're good. We're going to be at 31. And they're going to say, well, how? You're just guessing? You can pull the sheet and go, no, like I keep track of it. It's right here. And here's the last 2 months. And this is where we were at this date last month. And this is what we finished. And the month before that. Good job. You're right on top of this. And if it is high, I would be reacting. I'd be doing something now. So that's the purpose of this. And this information is not really much you have to do. Everybody else is doing these numbers for you. They're just giving you the numbers. And then you just have to just put them in the spreadsheet. It's the same spreadsheet you use every week. You just, take out the values. And then next month you change this to whatever this was. November, you just change this to December. And you just start over again. Use the same sheet over and over and over again. So it's not difficult. This is very low level Excel, but it certainly shows you the power of Excel and why, if you're going to go in this business, you really need to be comfortable with Excel, because this little trick, this little step, this little process is hugely powerful.